Hi, thanks for checking out our channel here. This is well, I was going to make a repair video on this thing, but I don't get these universal co-ops or weed burner ones in that for repair that often, so I got some other videos out there for the weed burner types repair videos, but I didn't make one on this one. This one's already been fixed and brought back to life, so I just want to go through it and kind of talk about it real quick. If you got one of these old weed burners, they can be fixed. You got to use them in the right situation. You don't want to use them on real long fences. You don't want to use them on poly rope, braided, you know, the rope type stuff, or tape, poly tape, because these things they're a long duration shock. They're on for a moment, off for a moment. They're AC output, not DC output like a low impedance one is. So on poly rope material, it would get too hot and you'll melt that stuff. So you can't use these on that, or it's not recommended. Plus, you get a lot of grass on there, you know, it wears them down, and you know, they will fight through some weeds on it, of course, because that's what they're designed to do. If you get the right situation where it's dry grass, dry this, dry that, they were known to cause brush fires. That's why people got away from them. I don't think they were really outlawed. I think they became unpopular when solid state came around and low impedance came around, and now everybody does low impedance nowadays. I don't think there's any solid state stuff being built anymore. So this is an old Universal Co-op model brand, model 2000. It's a 1983 model. It's got the date code down there, September, 983. And on the inside, the transformer is still original, September 14th, 1983. So pretty, I mean, it's a little dusty, dirty, but it's still in pretty good shape. It now works. A little chopper thing at the bottom, or what do they call these things? It was still good. I put a new one in there just to try, because it didn't come on at all, and it didn't help, because you got to get these things about 30 seconds to a minute to warm up to get going. And I waited like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 minutes. It went and did a few things, came back, still wasn't working. But I put another one of those weed chopper things in there, and it still it didn't come on after 2, 3, 4 minutes. So I was like, well, fuses were good. And, well, something's wrong on the inside. Well, here's the inside of it. Pretty basic. The hardest thing to get your hands on, because all this stuff's available. And you can buy capacitors, resistors, chopper things are hard, sort of hard to come by. They're out there. They're just kind of expensive for what they are. Resistors, transformers are no longer made. You can't get new ones of those, but we have a transformer that we use if these do go bad, that we can hardwire in here, and you have to kind of glue them in place, because these are riveted to the case with this little bracket there. And so you can't. The one that we had doesn't have a bracket built into it, and it probably won't fit on this bracket because of the way it's designed. So we just use some really like sticky, hard epoxy, and that basically almost makes it permanent in there. It can be broken out of there and replaced if it had to be, but I haven't had one of those go bad yet. So, but this is the old weed burner one. This big resistor over here. A lot of them, some old Parmaks that were weed burners, Hold'em 57s that were weed burners. They had some kind of big resistor over here going to the case. It was, and same with this one. They're used as kind of a bleed down, lower the output on them a little bit to make them a little safer. What these are used for. They don't go bad that often. Pasture, they go bad on occasion. You can replace those. I don't know what size it is. I didn't flip it over because they've already had this thing running. I don't want to touch much of it without getting burnt by it. So we're going to power it up here. So we'll make sure nothing touches the case down there. Flip the switch on. So spin off for a few minutes. So it's going to take a moment to get this thing to power on and light up. Now this light will come on and flash like every couple seconds. It's on for a moment, off for a moment, and back and forth. And it says it's a fence output indicator. So as long as your fence is clean and not dragging the unit down too much, that light will flash every time it's outputting its power. So if you walk by, you'll hear it humming. It'll be when you walk by, you hear it humming, so you can see the lights flashing. So if the light's flashing, it's hooked up to the fence, I think that means the unit's not dragged down too much to where it's not outputting what it's supposed to be. Now if you short it out, or if you get a pretty heavy load on the fence, like we're going to touch the fence terminal, that's the ground. Ground's bolted straight to the case. So if we take a screwdriver and go to the edge of that case, it will shoot a spark every time it goes off. But you'll watch that light, and I'll dead short it. Well, I won't dead short it first. Just put a spark to see. Let me zoom in so you can see a little better. So when I do this, here, let's get a different tool. Got a bad angle at it. So when it is arcing and shooting a spark like that, it's good. And there's a way to test the output with a meter, but you can't use a regular fence tester. You've got to use a AC multimeter to read these. These are not a clicking type of unit. Now when you get a bad short in a fence with these, too much grass or dead short of some sort, if it drags down too much, which I'm a dead short against the case, that light is, will still hum, but that light will go out. It won't flash anymore. I can feel it humming, like feel it through the screwdriver. As soon as you fix the problem, light goes back to working. So it's a real nice indicator. I mean, it does its job. What it's supposed to do, it tells you when there's a problem on the fence line or too much load on the fence for this particular unit. So it's working. Here's how you test it. You need a multimeter that can test AC voltage, which most multimeters can. I would get a digital one. So the symbol for AC, whoops, is that little squiggly line there? That's AC. The dotted line with the solid line above it, that's DC for like batteries and stuff like that. But for AC voltage, there's no polarity to this when you go to test it. So it doesn't matter if you put your red on the ground, black on the fence, or vice versa. There's no polarity to AC for testing it. Why is it not testing? It was testing earlier. And it's shorting charger out when I do that. But anyways, it's supposed to be, I was testing earlier, it was doing fine. It was reading like 625 something volts AC every time it hummed along there. You get another tester just to see if it makes a difference. Now, I don't have another, this is the only meter I've got, but it's working fine. I don't know why the meter's not picking it up. That's because it's such a, AC is usually a constant. Charging it. Well, because the transformer wasn't hooked up to discharge it. But yeah, for whatever reason, this tester ain't getting it. I guess because it's not a consistent voltage. It's fluctuating every time it's charging and discharging. This meter's not able to sense it right. I don't know. It was reading it kind of intermittently earlier. It was reading in 450 and 650 volts every time it would kind of go up and down, up and down. That's right where it's supposed to be, but I don't have another. I have another multimeter that's just like this one. But it's working fine. Nothing wrong with it now. It's working. So we're gonna put this back together. Call the customer up. Give him a quote. Pretty cheap fix for a unit. So we'll get the guy going, and I'm sure he'll fix it. But if you got a question or anything, just ask us. If you want to send something in for repair, send it on in. We'll be happy to take a look at it for you. So have a good day, and we'll talk to you later.